Okay. Well, Marvel Rivals looks a little different since last time I logged into it. Okay. Let's see. So we've got... Let me try and guess this. Let me try and guess this. So we've got pointy ears on the fella, sharp eyes, claws on the hands. So it's Dracula. It's Dracula. It's fucking... There's bats everywhere. There's a cathedral in the background. It's Dracula and a red moon. I was sitting here like, is that a Skrull? Is that what that's not the Mandarin. They wouldn't do the Mandarin. No, it's Dracula. There's fucking there's vampire bats everywhere. It's Dracula. Okay. Okay. Why the fuck is it Dracula? Oh, well, that's interesting, because, like, my impression from when I first looked at Marvel Rivals was that this was all very sort of cosmic Marvel nonsense, that they were sort of basing all of this, like with the Black Panther having like a space empire and all that. I figured, okay, they would keep the theme kind of Marvel cosmic. They would sort of stay in the sci-fi realm of it. But I guess they're just like, nah, we're just doing vampires now because of... I mean, that's true to the Marvel universe, I will say. Like, that do be what Marvel do. So, okay, I guess we are changing the theme of the thing a little bit here. Cool. All right. Ooh, hey, cutscene. Oh, hello, Sue Storm. That's an introduction for you. Ooh. Oh, some fancy animations there. Really interesting combination in that cutscene of, like, 3D models doing things, but then, like, a lot of, like, animated 2D assets rendered over top of that. Like, the flame trail that Torch was leaving was fantastic. But this is why I wanted to come back and look at Marvel Rivals again, is specifically because of the Fantastic Four that have now been added to the game, along, presumably, with God knows how many cosmetics. I suppose we're about to find out together. But, yeah, so, like I said, what an introduction to Sue Storm. I've seen some fan art of Sue Storm. It's been around. There's been some cosplays going around of people presenting Sue Storm in a very specific way, and I see that, like, not really to my surprise or anything, the game is very much leaning into that. So the Fantastic Four are interesting. Again, I should mention up top before, like, if anyone's coming into this who haven't seen me do these things before, I don't know a ton of Marvel comics. It was never really my main thing growing up. I read a bunch of Spider-Man comics because, you know, but it was the 90s when I was sort of the comic reading age, like of the prime comic reading age, and it was the 90s and it was Spider-Man, so it was, you know, Clone Saga and things like that, and it was a lot of, like, very edgy, big, burly men with pouches and lots of guns, always, like, grating their teeth and being angry about everything, and a lot of them drawn by Rob Liefeld. Todd McFarlane was also there. Todd McFarlane, still perhaps one of my favorite Spider-Man artists of all time. Bit of a dick in his personal and business life, but damn good Spider-Man artist. So, like, my experience with all of this is limited. If you want the full story about who all of the Marvel Rivals characters are, I would recommend go subscribe to Sir Superhero's YouTube channel. I'll try and remember to put a link to that somewhere, because he's a buddy of mine. He's starting up on YouTube, sort of coming over from TikTok. He's been doing some fan-fucking-tastic Marvel lore videos where he really dives into and explains, like, the Marvel multiverse and how all this shit fits together, and dives into obscure characters and things like that. And he's also, I believe, planning a bunch of Marvel Rivals content. So go subscribe to him, because he's fantastic and he knows all of this shit by heart. Like to an almost concerning extent, Matt has this shit locked down in a way that I absolutely don't. So if I'm sitting here talking a bunch of shit and misremembering half of the lore of these characters, Matt is the guy who's got you covered for that. Or you can correct me down in the comments. Also, I enjoy the engagement, and also, like, flex your comics knowledge. It's cool when you do that. Anyway, the Fantastic Four, though, I do know a little bit about them, because the Fantastic Four are they're considered like the first family of Marvel, right? Like, they are sort of the first real big major Marvel Comics sort of hit, like the big thing that defined Marvel Comics in the early days. Their spot has kind of been taken over by Spider-Man, who now is like the Marvel superhero to most people, but the Fantastic Four used to be like right the fuck up there. and used to be like very, very important in that way, and defined like very interesting things going on with a lot of their tropes, like a lot of that 60s optimistic futurism that's sort of baked into them. But then all of that tied back to a very, very, very old medieval theme, which is elements. Like, they are all based on elements. Mr. Fantastic is water, Sue Storm is air, the Thing is rock, Johnny Storm is fire, obviously. So it's like 4 elements kind of thing. And also that they are a superhero family, right? Like that it is like married couple, like dipshit uncle, and like dad's best friend from work who he spends a lot of time with. Like this extended family bit that they've got going on, right? Is that still a relation? Actually, I don't actually know that. Like, did they change the family relationships? Like, is the Thing now, like, Reed's brother? Did that happen at some point? Probably it happened. Maybe they were cloned at some point. Who the fuck knows? I don't even know which version of the characters these are. But that they were like a family of superheroes, like, sort of playing partly this sort of idealistic 1950s domestic bliss trope thing against the sort of 60s fascination with space travel and like the optimistic futurism of like technological inventions are going to change the world forever in amazing ways. All of that against the sort of Marvel House style of occasionally doing some slightly more grounded dramas and things like that. It's interesting. Again, not an expert on it, just I have this ambient vibe about the Fantastic Four that makes them really interesting, even if they have never... I don't know anyone whose favorite heroes are the Fantastic Four, I don't think. Right? I don't think I've ever really met someone who's like a Fantastic Four head in the same way that people are really into like Spider-Man or the Punisher or Wolverine. I don't think I've ever met a Fantastic Four lifer in that way. But yet, you kind of can't imagine Marvel without them, can you? Like, they are really kind of core and fundamental to the Marvel universe as a thing. The Fantastic Four are sort of always there. Even if, like, a lot of what they've got going on with the Baxter Building and being a team and all that, like, it rubs up against and it abuts, like, with the super scientist thing for Reed, it rubs up against and it abuts a bunch of things that other Marvel characters are also playing with, like Tony Stark, for example. And yet... you kind of can't have Marvel without these four interesting weirdos. I've also always liked the Thing. Like Sue Storm and like Mr. Fantastic, I can kind of take them and leave them a lot of the time because like Mr. Fantastic, again, I've not read that many Fantastic Four comics, but like he certainly has had a history of being portrayed as like, oh yes, the family patriarch who's always sensible and always right about everything. And I was like very sort of boring feet down on the ground character, and Sue Storm always sort of like the perfect housewife torn between like her love for Reed and then this exotic adventure of dating the strange foreign man who always walks around in his Speedos, Namor, more, right? Like that sort of love triangle thing, that never interested me at all. Johnny Storm is fun when he's like messing with Spider-Man, like when they have their buddy comedy thing going on, but the Thing has always had pathos, right? The Thing has always had the heart of it all. That idea of like being transformed into this horrible rock monster and like you gain superpowers is amazing, and like all your like everyone else in the family they just stay incredibly hot, but now they have like really flashy cool superpowers, and then you are like a huge fucking rock monster looking like you wandered out of World of Warcraft. Now Ben, of course, at the time in the 60s couldn't know just how many people would get like insanely thirsty for like this specific brand of guy, or how many people indeed would like be genuinely aesthetically like find this beautiful and attractive and like a wonderful thing, something that's like not just a curiosity and not just horny, but like genuinely beautiful and desirable. Aesthetics have changed, but the pathos of that, like of Ben Grimm being kind of alone in his monstrousness and being kind of alone in his transformation and alienation from humanity, that Sue and Reed and Johnny really don't have to feel, right? Like he's fundamentally unalterably alienated from humanity, right? He cannot pass for a human ever if he wanted to. That has always had a lot of heart. That has always had a lot of pathos. There's always been like this wonderful mix of, well, it's clobbering time! And then he's also like the saddest motherfucker on earth, right? The saddest, gentlest, sweetest man, like, who has the capacity to do great violence, but who really just, like, a very hard man who just kind of wants to be soft, right? Like, that has a lot of emotion to it. Anyway, let's think the thing. Let's look at the thing. So, let's start with the 4. and have a look at them. Sue and Torch are here. Reed is there, rocking the Mountain Man beard. Very much the Joe Krasinski. What's his name? Joe Krasinski? Someone Krasinski. The one from the Doctor Strange movie version, I think of him. Isn't he going to be played by Pedro Pascal now? I think is the next one. I guess they didn't want to model it on him. And then the Thing is all the way down here. And actually, you know what? Let's start with the Thing. Okay. And yeah, there's a relatively limited amount of things to say about the Thing, right? It's sort of there's a lot of interpretations of him. There's a lot of ways he could be conceptualized. I do like that he's always wearing underwear, just like, which always raises the question of like, is that because he has like, is that because there is something there? Or is that just, or is there nothing there and he's just wearing the pants because like otherwise people would be like, oh my god, he's naked? That question has been in the back of many people's minds as they've been drawing fan art of the Thing, I've noticed. But interesting conception of him here, because like one of the things about the Thing, especially the way that he's built here, you kind of have to differentiate him from the Hulk, right? You kind of have to make him not just another the Hulk, right? Like, because they sort of have that same big chunky bruiser thing going on. And they're doing a couple of interesting things with that. Like, first of all, like body posture. Thing is shorter than the Hulk, obviously. He's also broader. He's also thicker. Like, he's sort of more in the vein of, like, Monster Hulk's sort of body type, rather. Like, so what they're doing with the Hulk is he's doing much more Superman posing, right? Like, upright, shoulders back, hands, like, chin forward, like this very sort of straight-up character guy. Whereas, oftentimes with the Hulk, like, more often with the Hulk, you get the hunched over, like, monster thing with the shoulders up around the ears and, like hunched down, kind of predatory in the way that he's constructed. So they've done a lot just with the silhouette of the posturing and posing of the Hulk, but also in terms of body type. Like, Hulk has this much more Dorito, superhuman, Superman, like, hyper focused on the upper body musculature thing going on. Whereas Thing... right? Thing is much more squat, he's much more square, he's much more compact. Which I think is like a good choice. Like, he's basically just a square as sort of a silhouette in a character design. That's a good way to differentiate him from, like, the other, like, massive bruisers around here. I like that. That's pretty solid. That also comes through in his, like, the way that he's posturing, right? Like, Hulk has this upright Superman pose, and I'm trying to demonstrate it, but my character model kind of can't read that. And then Ben is doing this boxer thing, right? Like, shoulders up, hands in front of the face, keeping that, like, not a good boxing guard necessarily, but it's keeping them up there, right? Like, ready to sort of take a punch, which both sort of grounds him in that archetype which is like, he is like a tough guy from the streets, like, who used to, like, do boxing back at college and stuff like that before he became an astronaut, right? Like, he's that kind of guy, right? Like, he's a guy who used to do boxing at the gym, like, who used to be able to handle himself on the streets kind of vibe, whereas the Hulk is, you know, a super scientist rage monster. He's a like Jekyll and Hyde situation. The Thing isn't that, right? Like, he's a bruiser. He's a tough guy. He's someone who can take and land a punch. He's not fighting just by sheer force of anger or with cold scientific intellect. He's the dude who's been in the gym, who's done these things for exercise. And you can see they emphasize that a lot in his idle animation also. Like, with the cracking of the Thing and, like, rolling it up and changing his posture and having this, like, little sort of dancing back and forth, staying nimble on his feet kind of vibe, which is, like, very boxer to me. And that's also what they're doing with, like, the belt, right? Like, that's what they're doing with the outfit. He's not wearing the Speedos, which, again, some people have been lamenting that. I'm sure he has it as a cosmetic at some point. But he's wearing boxer shorts, essentially, right? Like, he's wearing these boxing shorts and a champion's belt around the waist. And I really quite like that detail. There's a couple of things I like about the champion's belt. First of all, that it is a champion's belt, that, like, we're really leaning into this thing, prize fighter, boxer, like, dude in the ring, Ben Grimm, to, like, really drill down into that part of his character archetype, right? That's the kind of guy he is the kind of guy who would have been a boxer in a different life, right? Like, which the Hulk most certainly wouldn't. So they're leaning into that, but I also like that the belt that they've given him, because they're doing this title champion fighter belt thing, they also have a good excuse to make the belt really big and chunky, right? Like, this is not a little fucking cloth belt that's holding up his pants. This thing is, like, made of fucking adamantium or fucking whatever. Like, this thing is big and tough and solid, and it, like, in the sense of, like, this probably won't be broken if he takes a big hit, right? Like, it adds to that aesthetic of chunky solidness that informs the rest of the character, and I really quite like that. So I wonder about these seams around his wrists here. Because, like, the thing has been presented in many different ways. He's a Jack Kirby design way back originally, right? Like, which, like, lends itself to a lot of like, interesting abstraction. Here, with these seams right around the wrists, I wonder if those are like an animation concession. Like, they need to be able to bend and rotate and, like, twist his wrists in ways that maybe would be hard with all of this angular rock geometry without causing clipping, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just visually. Again, it could also be visually to almost imply that he's wearing gloves, right? Like, to sort of visually gesture ever so slightly at the idea of a boxing glove. It could be either or both of those things. I wonder about that, because they are kind of noticeable on his wrists. Then there's... I wish I could see him from the top, because, like, I think it's just the lighting, but yeah, it's just the lighting. Okay, it looked like he had, like, a blue glowing thing on his shoulder, like some kind of tech thing, but that would be weird for the thing. No, he doesn't. And that's another thing I like about the thing, is that there's really nothing extra going on here, right? Like think about, like, I'm not a huge fan of the Captain America design in this particular one, because it goes way too tech with him, I think. Like, I think I think it loses some of that old-fashionedness that's sort of core to... Where the hell is Cap? Oh, there you are. I think it loses some of, like, the man-out-of-time old-fashionedness that's sort of supposed to be a lot of the core of at least multiple versions of the Steve Rogers character. That he's got this fucking Iron Man suit armor and magnetic shield thing and, like, laser rims on his fucking shield and all that. I think that kind of weakens a lot of the storytelling of who he is as a character. And by contrast, I really like that the Thing has nothing else. There's no tech, there's no fancy nothing, there's no gubbins, there's no science, there's no anything. The Thing is just big rock guy who's gonna clobber you, right? Like, he's gonna clobber you. He doesn't need a fancy, like, mech suit or a punching glove to do that. He's just here, he's just big, he's just tough, he's simple. And I like that. I like that, like, when you're presenting who is this character in terms of their personality. Well, Ben is someone who, like, yeah, if Reed hands him, like, a power glove or whatever, he'll put it on and punch something with it, but he's not the guy who comes up with that idea, right? Like, he's not the guy who goes, hey, make me a fancy tech thing to act. Like, he's like, no, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take care of business, and then we're gonna deal with it. Like, that's Ben Grimm to me. So I like that. I like the way that the Thing is presented quite a bit, actually. Then the trench coat, of course. Of course he has the trench coat. I will say, Ben, you're probably going to need some shoes to make this really work. I think people can still tell. But shit, he looks good in that, actually. He does, doesn't he? So the trench coat, again, is one of those iconic Ben Grimm things, right? Like, he hates that he is this big rock monster. He hates how people react to him. He hates how people see him. Even though he's famous, even though he's a hero, he doesn't like being seen as the big monster, right? He wants to be seen as a man. That's the tragedy of Ben Grimm, right? Like, is that he's a very hard man who very much wants to be soft. And again, I kind of like the way they've designed this trench coat around. Like these big pinstripe... Well, that's not pinstripe. It's, what's it called when it's the Thing? Tartan? No, plaid. Plaid? I think it's plaid. Me and clothing patterns. Like, these look like really soft pants, don't they? Like, the shirt and, like, the scarf around his neck. There's a lot of softness. There's a lot of, like, really sort of fluffy softness in the coat and the clothes and the shirt. And, like it's deliberately contrasting with the hardness of his rock design. Which, again, I think is good. Like, I think that, again, points to the idea of, like, what does Ben want to be versus what does he look like? Is like, well, he wants to be a big, soft, tough guy, right? Like, he wants to be a big, soft man who doesn't have to be hard all the time. And that's, like, expressing that by him choosing to wear clothes that, like, are deliberately designed to look quite soft in a lot of ways. I like that. Like, again, who knows how intentional that was on the part of the designers, but that's certainly something I can take away from it. I also do like the camera and the journal and the pen, because, again, Ben Grimm, right? Like, there is this thing of, like, he gets judged on his appearance as, like, he looks like a big, tough guy, and so it's like, oh, he has no interiority. He's just a big, dumb, tough guy who punches things. But, like, there is an interiority to Ben. There is a poetic soul in there, right? Like, many, many times in the comics, he's shown to have, like, an artistic and quite a soft soul. Like, there's many different incarnations and interpretations of Ben Grimm, right? Like, and again, not an expert. I've not seen all of them, but my memory of the times that the thing has been presented to me in various forms of media is that he is, like, soft, and he has a soft soul. So, like, the idea that he would enjoy photography, that he would, like, have a little journal that he keeps for sketching and drawing, or, like, that maybe he goes birding, right? Like, maybe he's a bird watcher. He goes taking pictures of birds and noting, like, those little elements of, like, this is what he does on his off time. I really like that. That's really cute. And again, very humanizing. Like, a very nice way to present him as more than just his, like, gruff exterior. Ah, that's just a palette swap. Well, that sucks a little bit. Now let's see the MVP. Yeah, that's solid enough, I guess. It's not terrible. Again, we're sort of leaning into the boxing thing, right? Like, this is taking a couple of jumps before the match, getting ready, turning around. Okay, so the idea for this costume is to present him as a bit more of a noir figure, I guess. Yeah. Investigator kind of vibe. Which, again, I still like the contrast with, like, Ben Grimm as a character. Now. That's pretty good. The torch drops a thing on his head. That's cute. That's adorable. That's very funny. Okay. Yeah, no, I like the thing a lot. I think this is a good rendition of him. And, like, you can see the Marvel Rivals style, right? Like, this is not the Jack Kirby the Thing. Very much not. Like he has a much more human anatomy to his face, I think, than Kirby. Well, no, it is a little bit there. Like, they are replicating, like, that big, enormous, heavy brow that Kirby was so fond of with the presentation of the Thing. But, like, Jack Kirby's The Thing was much more also, like... He would, like, Kirby with his fondness for, like, dark lines, like, the way that Kirby did, like, the crags in between, like, the folds of rock on the Thing's skin, the very defined anatomy that we get here, that's sort of a little bit distanced from the more amorphous rock monster that you got from Jack Kirby's rendition of the Thing. Again, the Thing has looked like a million different ways across time. I think it was a pirate at one point. Wasn't there a comic? Matt, if you see this in the comments, let me know. Wasn't there a comic where the Thing becomes a pirate and kind of a founding father of the United States of America? Is that not like is there not like a time is that canon, or was that like an Elseworlds or and What If story kind of vibe? Because I think I remember seeing the Thing as a pirate. I think. Or was that another character? Again, comics lore, not my forte. I mean, yeah, punching. Someone who actually knows boxing will have to tell me about the form of those swings, but they do look a little unstructured to me. Like, he's not really using his hips much there, is he? Because, of course, it's a layered animation. It has to account for him being walking the whole time, but still. Let's see. It's clobbering time! There we go. Yeah. I don't know that I would have made clobbering time like a ranged attack. Clobbering time feels more like that should be you go up to someone's face and punch them right in it. Rather than I'm going to punch the ground and then over there you're going to get hurt. That feels... That's not... Dang. Oh, hey, Yancey Street. The Yancey Street gang. They're like... I think it was Sir Superhero Matt who made a TikTok about it at some point, maybe. Or one of the other ones. Was it Nikhil? Could have been Nikhil. Yeah, see, that feels more like that should be clobbering time, doesn't it? A little bit. Like, charge in, smack a guy. It feels a little bit more like should be clobbering time. But the Yancey Street gang are like a gang of street kids that Ben has like a sort of charming, grumpy uncle sort of adversarial relationship with, where they play pranks on him and he kind of looks after them. It's very adorable. Oh, a support ability. Nice. Again, that feels more like clobbering time to me, but it's just his alt fire, I guess. Immune to launch, knock up, and knock back and other displacements effect. Like, he's just immune to that forever? For free? Damn. Or does it have a cooldown? Surely it has a cooldown. Doesn't look like it does. Interesting. Invisible Woman taps into her powers, learning might to fortify the team. Yeah, like, it makes sense that they would have a team power. And they have the fastball. Nice.
Let's play catch.
It's nice that the fastball is there. Let's look at the thing. When Ben Grimm signed up to be an experimental spacecraft pilot for his pal Reed Richards, he never imagined he'd return from the flight transformed into a monster. Even though cosmic rays turned him into the thing, Ben still has a heart of gold beneath his rocky exterior. Since New York City plunged into eternal night, Ben has devoted himself to protecting his home from the monsters plaguing it. I mean, I would imagine so. That seems like the kind of thing that Ben Grimm would do if there were vampires. He would probably punch them. Okay. Is there somewhere where I can just see the cosmetics in the store, right? Well, no, because it's a rotating... Or is it? Okay. It's like this would let me see the things properly. Yes, good, okay. Look at you. Oh, cool. Look at you later. Look at you later. Let's stick with the Fan 4 stick. Let's look at Torch. Okay. Interesting way to render... Oh, that's cute. That's very cute. Interesting way to render his flames, right? Because it's like an orange-yellow glow effect applied to his model, and then... Yeah. Because, like, again, the way that you render Human Torch's fire effects, right? Like, the way you render what does he look like when he's on fire, a lot of renditions will just fully turn him into a ball of flame, right? Like fully no sense of the personality underneath, no sense of the body. When it's flame on, it's like all fire. Again, many different depictions of it over time. The ones I remember have a tendency to be that, right? He makes a 4 with his legs in the air. Like, come on. It is the kind of thing Johnny would do, to be fair, but that's a little too cute. Like, come on, really? They must have been pleased with themselves when they came up, because it's like a perfectly sensible flying pose, right? Like one leg up, one leg down, but they just exaggerate a little bit more by bending it so that it makes a 4. You know? So yeah, I mean, not a lot to say about Johnny as a character design particularly, is there? He's a handsome, cocky, pretty boy, right? Like, that's kind of the vibe of him, is that he is the sort of hothead of the family, quite literally, right? Because the elemental power is always sort of commenting on who the characters are as people, right? Like that Ben, with like tough guy with a heart of gold, gets turned into rock, right? Johnny, hothead with a like flair for the dramatic and for showing off, but also a tendency for his cockiness to blow up in his own face. Of course he gets fire, right? And there's kind of not a lot going on here. I feel like he could be prettier, I will say. Like, that face with all of those wrinkle-ass lines all the way down, like, really, like, very kind of an angry expression on him. I feel like he should be more cheerful. I feel like he should be more smiley and kind of happy and a little bit go-lucky and maybe like a little bit more flippant rather than arrogant. I feel like his animation here is really emphasizing like the cockiness and arrogance, but not so much the charm. Which, I mean, who knows what his voice lines are like. Maybe he's more affable that way, but the way he looks here, he just kind of looks like an asshole. Like, that's my initial impression of him. The way that he looks is just, this guy's kind of a dick, right? Not really funny, not really charming, he just kind of looks like a dick. He looks a little villainous, actually. And that in part also comes down to just having the glowing eyes. There's a trope, right? Like that the eyes are the window to the soul. But it's true. There's a lot of identification that human beings do with a character through the eyes. Like, a lot of it comes through, like, how are the eyes of a character presented? That changes everything about the character. Think about if you've played Final Fantasy VII Remake, right, Barrett shows up with his sunglasses almost all the time. Remember the first time he takes them off, and all of a sudden he goes from being like this shouty, loud, hard-ass to the biggest, softest teddy bear on the planet Earth? That's the power of eyes, right? Like, the way eyes are presented in a character can do a lot to inform a person's initial impression of them, because as human beings, we are hardwired to look for faces. We are hardwired to consider and care for faces and interpret them and find, like, emotional meaning in them. And not, like, just on a social cues level, but also on the level of, like, it's just our brains look for... That's why we have pareidolia, right? Like, that's why you can see, like, two windows and, like, a roof on a side of a building and go, oh, hey, that's a face. Or, like, you see a face in a wall outlet or something, right? That's pareidolia. That's the human brain's programming, desperately searching for patterns, and especially searching for faces, for things that look like humans, that look like people, that look like expression, that look like emotional information of various kinds. And so I feel like the way Johnny's face is presented here, that's not really giving him a great first impression. But, you know, whatever. Like, it's not like most people are going to see his face up that close when they're playing him, surely. But I do like the 2D flame. Like, the flame effects are interesting, especially, because it's like, it's a mixture of 3D glow effects and, like, particle effects. And then you have these 2D rendered flames, right? Like, those flames are fully 2D renderings that are, like, hooked to an occlusion thing where his head will always occlude the flames, so, like, they always look like they're coming from behind the model. But they're hand and, like, oh, who knows about hand animated, right? Like, all kind of generative tools that can do stuff like this, but they are really pretty. Like, they are very, like, this kind of fire effect, I will always find this a million times more interesting and compelling than just, you know, 3D generate flame effect with physics engine kind of vibe, right? Because this is like, this, I feel much more artistic intentionality in flames being presented this way. This feels a lot more like an artist was making some conscious choices about how the fire is supposed to move on this character. Which, like, that's not always meaningful, necessarily. It's not like the fire necessarily tells us anything about who the character is. It's just, I find it aesthetically appealing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, he has the palette swap, which, you know, that's fine. And then we have Negative Zone. Negative Zone? When the hell did Johnny go to the negative? Well, he probably... Why am I surprised? Of course he went to the negative zone. He, like, everyone's gone to the negative zone. Everyone is in the negative zone probably right now. Who knows? I don't know what the current canon of Marvel lore is, but okay. So here we're doing a sort of, yeah, sort of biotech, a little bit symbiote-esque, right? Like, a little bit like he's got, like, this biotech infection or suit sort of crawling over him. And, like, mostly it's biological. Mostly it looks like some sort of alien skin suit kind of vibe or parasite that's taking him over or something. But then you also have this little element of technology with this canister, whatever the hell that is, plugged into his elbow. Which, is that fuel for the fire? Is that what that's supposed to be? Okay. And there's really... Okay, so he does not have any remnants of the Fantastic Four suit there, right? No. Well, I mean, elements of the geometry of the character are there, but it doesn't look like he's wearing a corrupted Fantastic Four suit. It looks like he's wearing... So, yeah, a Negative Zone gladiator suit of some kind, and then this... Whatever the hell this is... giving him this half mask. I mean, this is not really helping the impression of villainy, I will say, adding, like, the purple and, like, this sort of slight H.R. Giger, very slight. Like, Giger would be more mechanical about it, but slight sort of alien, ominous purple, goopy infection stuff and the half mask looking rather demonic about it. I guess that's the point. Interesting change to the hairstyle, though, because, like, here we have this hairstyle, right? Like, which is like, oh, it's like a flame ember. It's like, oh, it's like the hair is like an extension of the fire, which, like, okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. It's just a little... I've seen that trick a million times before on fire-themed characters, and it kind of has a little bit of a rooster thing, like the crest of a rooster, a little bit of that cockerel thing going on. They could have leaned into that a little bit. Like, they could have made his pompadour a little sillier. Maybe not quite to the level. In fact, we already have this in fucking Marvel Rivals, don't we? Where the hell is Star-Lord? Because, like, they already did kind of the same thing, right? Oh, yeah, like, he's flame something, master of the sun, so his hair is kind of like fire. On him here, it looks really kind of silly. That's maybe a little bit too much, but, like, they could probably have made it just a little bit, well, it's weird. Like, the hairstyle here, I feel like the hair underneath this is too long. Like, I feel like that really should have been like a full fade into the side of his head rather than just kind of cut short and then, like, almost mullet him a little bit with, like, a really long tail, like, to really give that billowing, flowing flame thing that could sort of accentuate his motion as he moves, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't have a lot to say about Johnny Storm here. There's not really much interesting about his design. I feel like they could have done something more interesting with the body type. Like, Johnny has never been a strength character, right? He's always been a heartthrob. Like, there's always that, but I feel like this could be more Timothy Chalamet, right? Like, and less Chris Evans. I feel like he could be a little bit more, like, slight and, like, little bit more like hot skinny boy about it, rather than this sort of gym shredded thing. And that might have been interesting because, like, that would very much contrast him, especially with Ben, but also, like, give an opportunity for more contrast with Mr. Fantastic. Although some of the screenshots I've seen floating around Twitter and Mr. Fantastic, they do some fun stuff with his body, I think, which I'm quite excited to take a look at. Okay. But yeah, like they could have done something with, like, I don't even care what, like, could be more slim, whatever. They could have done something with the body type rather than just give him standard superhero body number 84, right? Like, this is just the same body we've seen a million times on a million other characters. There's just nothing interesting about it. It doesn't say anything unique about who this character is, how he uses his body. By comparison with, like, if he specifically had a very slight body, right? Like, if he specifically was very skinny, almost as though he's, like... Because one thing about the Human Torch, right, like, I could see the idea of a Human Torch having a completely monstrous, like, metabolism, right? Like, that he has to eat so much all the fucking time just to keep himself going, that, like, he doesn't really build muscle, he just has to eat and eat and eat and eat, and he always stays skinny forever, because, again, he's, like, naturally hot heartthrob guy, right? Like, he's the guy who's always going to be hot his whole life, even if he eats nothing but a diet of absolute junk food and like, cheeseburgers. Which, again, would sort of play into this idea, like, he's someone who maybe doesn't make quite as sensible, smart life choices as he probably should. He's someone who thinks he's going to be young forever, right? Like, who's not really taking care of himself because he's naturally hot and he's coasting on that. Like, there are ways to make his body do a little bit more storytelling about him rather than just, he goes to the same gym as all the other superheroes and has the same body type as all the other superheroes. It's not a big flaw or anything, it's just I'm just free associating things I think would be more interesting. Now, let's see. Yeah, he throws fire. That about... Okay, so... What's this perimeter? Is he doing an Aurelian Soul thing? What's going on here? Is this perimeter showing how big his ult is going to be? Is that what it is?
Super Nova!
Ah, there it is. Okay, so he does transform fully into his flame form. Well, okay, as far as I can tell, it's just kind of altering the texture on the character. It's not really... Oh, it's making him transparent a little bit. Oh, I like that. It makes him a little bit translucent, I think, around the legs, or at least obliviates them, like, obviates them enough that they sort of flow into each other. That's quite nice. You can see the fire, the gradient, right? Like, he's darker up here and lighter down there. And, like, it's a flat texture that gets applied to his whole body that doesn't respect geometry quite like normal. That's pretty good. Because that, like, hyper-flattens him a little bit.
Super Nova!
Right, like that flattens him a little bit. Like you can see how that kind of eliminates the geometry of him. It turns him into kind of a silhouette. Rather than like a fully voluminous 3D model. That works pretty well. And then they, yeah, with some of his abilities, they kind of do that. They give him a little bit more of the flame body. Okay, flame fields. And then make a... Okay, that's very cool. Cool area denial. And then detonating his flame fields as well. What are those things? Like, it's not like Aurelian Soul where they take damage just by being hit by them, right? Not as far as I can tell. Oh, he has one with Storm.
Incoming!
Fire Storm!
Oh, very cool. Lovely animation. Okay. Teenager Johnny Storm joined his sister on the crew of an experimental space mission in hopes of visiting the stars. Why would you put him into space when he's a teenager? Jesus, Reed! Instead, he became one, gaining powers and popularity as a member of the world-famous Fantastic Four. Able to generate scorching flames, Johnny is the hottest hero in town, the Human Torch. I would imagine he's reasonably effective against vampires. Like, classically, he should be, right? Okay, let's do Reed and then finish off with Sue. Oh, that is very good. Oh, wait, that rules. Oh, that rules. Hang on. Oh, that's good. Oh, the animators are fucking cook. Hang on. No, sorry. There's a way to training mode, right? Not tutorial. I don't want tutorial. I want... Is there not a way to try hero? Is that not a... that was a thing somewhere at some point. Practice. There it is. I'm blind. Because I feel like with Reed, I really, really, really need to see him animate first. Because some of the stuff I saw there, what they were doing with, like... Some of the stuff that they were doing... which class of hero is he? There he is. Some of the stuff they were doing...
Scientific resolutions prove insufficient, giant fists do come in handy.
Oh, yeah. Like, already, like, you look at his jump animation, right? Look how much stretch there is in him, even when he jumps. The run animation is maybe a little bit awkward, but... Hop aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Together we... One piece.
We've been discovered.
Oh, I really, really like how they've done this. Like, because, like, look at the punch, left punch there. You see the hook on that? Right? It's not just that they extend the arm straight. Like, there's a curvature to it. To the way that the arms are put together. That really works. So what does that do? Oh, shit!
Attempt.
Wait, hang on. Hang on. Oh, it's on a cooldown. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. But, like, okay, so what does...
Not so fast, friend.
Oh, so you can slam them together. Okay, I see.
Squared.
We've been discovered.
Oh, I really like the animation
Double
on this.
kill!
This is really good.
A futile attempt.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so the E is like... Whoa! Okay, so that's like, that's a support move. Where he steps in and, like, buffs them or takes damage in front instead of them. And what? Oh, no, it's a displacement.
Sorry
okay,
about that.
Oh, this is very good. This is very, very good.
A futile attempt.
Okay. Okay, so you can spawn the team up heroes.
We've been discovered.
Let me just try and charge
The
his
odds
Q.
weren't
I
in
need to
your
see what it
favor.
is.
Double kill!
Okay, so he charges up some kind of elasticity gauge, I guess.
That's 3!
Which I guess acts as like
Wow,
fuel
one in a row.
for...
Your failure was inevitable.
5! That's amazing!
Oh, hello! Gear forth! Okay, so that charges up his, like, elasticity gauge, and he goes gear forth.
That's one down.
Double kill!
And he goes gear forth, and then, yeah, okay, cool. So I don't suppose he has, like, a grapple Spider-Man sort of thing. Oh, he can actually grapple up the characters. Okay. Interesting. Reed, like, they've done some interesting stuff here. Let's see the Q.
Fantastic!
Oh, this is fully on some Luffy shit.
Whoa! Hypothesis. You
Double kill!
Oh, that's fully
was
on some
unusually
Luffy shit.
satisfying.
Like, come on. Okay, is there a way to detach the camera? I should do this on stream so people can tell me. UI? Chronovision. Okay. Oh, you can just charge your ultimate. Okay, let me just have another look at that.
Hypothesis was correct. You failed. Let me return the favor. Fantastic!
Double kill!
Like, they really lean fully into, like, some rubber hose animation nonsense with him. I think I'm seeing some
Trouble has
model
arrived.
swapping. Like, I think I can see that they fully swap the character model when he goes back to normal. That it's like, yeah, it's a distinct character model. But then, like, so you can use that to shield, or you can use that to displace. I see. Okay. I really like what they're doing with Reed. That's very good. Again, the run animation is maybe a little, but like, you see when he's running sideways like that, you see how his leg, it stretches just a little bit too much. Like, I think, hang on. There, like, right, you can see how the legs kick out just a little bit too much. They're a little too stretchy, just a tiny bit. That's a wonderful kind of uncanniness.
This should come in handy.
I really like that.
We've been discovered.
Yeah, and they model
Sorry
swap
about
him
that.
to sort of get to between some of his more extreme states. Like, because distorting a character model can genuinely be really hard. It can genuinely be really hard to properly, like, distort a 3D animation model like that. And it is, in many cases, a lot easier just to swap towards a model that's, like, actually just modeled to look like the thing you want it to look like.
Fantastic!
Man, I really like that. I like that they're not scared to go cartoony with him. That they're not scared to make him look ugly. Oh, I like that. I really like Reed. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Because, like, Reed's powers they are weird, right? Like the stretchy stuff, it is weird, right? Like there's no like, oh, like there's no looking cool, right? Like there's no looking like sort of traditionally badass cool when your power is stretch body real good. And so they've just really leaned into the cartooniness of it, the silliness of it. And I do like that because, like, with Reed, like, Fantastic Four, all of their powers are commentary on who they are as characters. Reed is a thinker. He's flexible, right? Like, the whole point of him is that he's, like, a brilliant creative genius and scientific genius because he's such a flexible thinker, right? Like, because he's capable of, like, twisting his mind around such complex problems. Like, that's sort of supposed to be the idea of it, right? And so, like, working with that in that way, and, like, these little idle animations, too. Like, just the fact that that's how he crosses his arms, right? When Reed Richards crosses his arms, he doesn't do it like a normal person, because he he turns his weird rubber arms, and you can see the arm being weird and rubbery even now. And I really, really like that. That's so charming. I really, really like that. That's some of the best game animation I've seen in a long time. Especially within the constraints of something like Marvel Rivals. Hang on. Yeah. Brainiac bounce.
Fantastic!
Yeah, like fully on some Luffy shit with that. And like posing that, by the way, for the animators, right? Like the animators have to think about two things when they're doing that. They have to think about how does the pose look to the player and their perspective, which is like camera behind his back, and how does the pose look to the other players who have to be able to read what he's doing, understand what he's doing, and react to it. And it has to not look like complete incomprehensible garbage. That's like a really cool way to do that.
Let me return the favor.
Yeah, like you can see the little snap as they swap the model. But I like that. I like that he just turns into this huge, like literally projecting a front, right? Like it's not that he gets quite as big as Ben, but just that he projects this huge chest forward. That's fantastic. Yeah. The hyper distortion on him is great as well. I will say his kit definitely borrows borrows a couple of things from Zack from League of Legends. Can't help but make the comparison, especially that ultimate is very mechanically similar to what Zack does. But that's fine. Like that's you know. I can't believe they made Reed inflation canon. And like it is inflated, right? Like the way that his body is presented here, it doesn't have the cragginess, right? Like it doesn't have like that geometric angularity that you get on the Hulk, that you get on Venom, that you get on Ben Grimm. It is inflated like a balloon, right? It has the same broad size, but it's much bigger and rounder and like kind of clumsy, a little bit balloon animal about it. Oh, that's really good.
Good work, Susan.
Oh my god, that's genuinely amazing animation. I really, really, really like that. Okay, let's actually the character design, the guy. And again, like, well, I mean, Fantastic Four, right? Like the Fantastic Four have a uniform, so he's just kind of wearing the same outfit as Johnny, right? And here again is where my body type criticism comes in. I feel like, again, maybe Mr. Fantastic should have a body type that's distinct from the one of Johnny Storm. Mr. Fantastic being a super scientist whose primary power is his mind and his creativity with his powers is like, does he need to be shredded then? Like, does he need to be gym bro, like, really, like, that kind of fitness? We're doing all of this interesting, like, there's a point to it, right? Like, there's a point to it that his base body is so, it has that Marvel Rivals angularity to it, right? Like, it has all of that. That does provide a good, like, a good baseboard, like a canvas, against which all of the elasticity can be a contrast, right? Like, the elasticity contrasts very well with the sort of hard-edged angularity of the Marvel Rivals base style, but it is, again, that thing of, like, clearly with Reed, messing around with the shape and properties of his body is, like, kind of his whole thing. So maybe he should have something a little bit more interesting looking than this at a baseline. Like, maybe he should have something a little bit more odd, or like, or maybe he should just look a little bit more inflated just by, just normally. Like, honestly, with Reed, it's like, you could make him a little bit fat, right? But it's not because he's actually fat, it's because he's like, oh, no, yes, I have these dangerous chemicals that I need to store, and I figured, why not just make a bubble inside? Like, it could be anything. Like, you could do kind of anything with his body, rather than just the standard superhero body type. It's not a huge problem. Like I said, what they do with him is so earnestly and genuinely delightful. I don't mind that he has the basic standard body, right? And also, if Reed had the standard body, right, like the standard superhero body template to go off of, and then Torch had something that was different, right? Like, Torch had something that was noticeably different, so you couldn't just swap the heads between the two of them, and it would be kind of unrecognizable which is which, right? Like, all I'm looking for is that the body types are being used more actively to create a contrast between the different characters, because they're all supposed to be these characters who are, like, complementary on the one hand, but also very, very different from each other. Also, like, complementary and contrasting in various ways. And I feel like the body types are an underexplored resource for the characters with which to do that in a couple of places. Aww. Like I said, first family of Marvel, right? Like, they've... Oh, she puts the ring on him. Oh, that's sweet. They've always kind of been that, right? Like, they've always kind of been... They've always kind of been that. Like, the idyllic, married life, perfect couple, sort of like they've always been the married couple of Marvel, right? Like, that's kind of always been their thing. Yeah, stealing some drip from Charles Xavier on the Krakoa there, I've got to say. Is that a super villain version of him? It seems kind of dark and, like, taking away his face, the eyes, that does look like it's sort of a dehumanized, depersonalized version of Reed. Again, I don't really know the ultimate, like, the Maker version of him. I'm Reed Richards, the ultimate Reed Richards, the one who's finally going to solve everything. I'm the Maker. That does feel like the kind of shit that a supervillain might say. It also feels a little inflexible, which again feels very anti-Reed Richards. I do like the chest thing. I do like that it's sort of almost like he has a hollow chest and there's some kind of science magic bullshit going on inside of it. That's quite cool. And it's like, it's sleek. It's very sleek and techy, which, like, not a bad way to lean into Reed Richards, the super inventor tech guy. In a way that's not, it's not biting Iron Man style, right? Like, this doesn't look like he's stole a suit from Stark Industries. This looks like Reed has been doing some fucked shit to himself kind of vibe. It's just disgustingly saccharine. It's supposed to be, like, that's good. Like, they have always been this in Marvel, right? Like, they've always, well, I say always. Again, I'm sure there's some storyline where they break up forever and it's a big dramatic thing of, like, oh, divorce in the Fantastic Four family, and, like, Sue goes off and does her own thing in a solo run, has short hair or something for a while, and like, who the fuck knows? But they've always been the prime married couple of Marvel. Like, that's kind of always been their deal. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, fuck me. The animators are just having so much fun with him. And again, the little thing, just the little touch of, like, him curving his arm around to do the thumbs up over here. That's charming. That's fun. Again, this is what it's supposed to be this way, right? Like, it's supposed to be this ridiculously super saccharine nonsense, and they certainly have nailed that. I guess Sue will have a wedding dress thing as well. Surging darkness. Yeah, no, I really am getting a sense that this guy is a... yeah, no, if that's not a villain version of Mr. Fantastic, I don't know what is. And it's like, also, like, Mr. Fantastic's powers are very easy to turn to body horror, right? Like, it's very easy to turn them into... He's researching vampires. Very good. Oh, yeah, no, like, absolutely. That's the maker emoji. That's, yeah, villain version. I get it. I see. Very sweet. Fantastic. Genuinely fantastic. I don't care that that's a, like, as a haha, fantastic haha, but... Okay, so we're still doing... Okay, Mr. Fantastic's cellular elasticity allows him to stretch his body beyond all physical limits, but now he'll have to stretch his mind further than ever to build the time stream reintegration device and end this cross-dimensional crisis. Cross-dimensional. So they're still doing the timeline tech stuff also, besides the vampire stuff, but okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Which leaves us with Sue Storm. And, like, plenty has been written about, like, we talked about elemental powers as, like, elements of the character's personality. A lot has been written about how Sue's power as, like, the wife and mother of the team is to literally be invisible, right? Like, to literally not be seen or heard, because that's the ideal role of a woman in a relation. Like, people have written about that before. Like, those criticisms have been made. I'm not going to rehash them here. It is hard to escape about her, but I do like the idea of, like, I've always liked her force fields more than the invisibility. I don't know why they fixated on invisible woman when, like, the force fields are kind of, like, the bigger deal for her, I feel. And, like, the more impactful set of her, like, part of her moveset is her ability to create force fields, right? And kind of, like, it's not telekinesis as I remember it. I don't think it's telekinesis that she has in terms of her power set. It's not a psychic power. It's some other kind of force field projection kind of thing going on. Which, like, I like better as an element of her personality, like the ability to literally build walls between herself and others, right? In the same way that Johnny's powers are like, yeah, he's hot-headed and he's rash and he, like, burns himself out kind of vibe, that, like, Sue as invisible, like has this ability to put walls between her and other people, not to let people get close, right? Like, that the powers embody both the best and the worst of them, right? That they embody both powers and flaws. That's always been the interesting part of the, like, Fantastic Four power set to me. So, like, people have definitely... So looking at her now, I'm a little, like, people sort of fixated on Sue when she was released from Marvel Rivals as, like, oh my god, hot and sexy girl in bodysuit kind of vibe. But now that I'm looking at her, it's like, she's not really that sort of super sexy. Just, like, she's sexualized. Clear, like, you kind of can't put a person in such a tight hugging bodysuit and, like, really sculpt their ass like that without that being an element of it. But I really don't feel like this is, like, it's not really porn bait as such, is it? I am a little... I don't really know why she has this posture. Like, this is a very odd, unstable posture with the knees turned inwards. And, like, one foot up like that. That's... That looks a little bit awkward, I feel like. Like, she doesn't look planted, and it just... Where's the S-curve? I'm looking for, like, often when you want a character to have, like, a sort of glamorous, effortless, graceful poise, like, you're kind of looking for, like, a strong S-curve through their posing and posture. Sue kind of doesn't have that. That's very oddly unstable, the way that her legs are arranged here. It's kind of... It's a little bit that sort of coquettish anime girl thing that they often do with, like, the feet pointed inwards and a little bit knock-kneed kind of vibe. And I don't know that that really fits Sue Storm. Because, like, you would think the idea of having the leg out like that would be to, like, accentuate, like, the curve, like really push the buttocks out and, like, really give her that curve down the back, but it doesn't really do that for her either. So if it's meant to make her, like, extra attractive, I don't know, maybe this is just outside of my wheelhouse, but this doesn't feel like a very good base pose for her. This feels kind of weak visually. And I don't mean in terms of, like, oh, it's not making me horny. I mean in terms of, like no matter the angle that I'm looking at it from, well, this one's kind, like, no, but even here, like, this awkwardly hovering heel just sort of sitting there. I'm trying to find, like, the angle from which this posture looks the best, and it's like pretty much any direction you look at her, she just looks a little bit unsteady. And that's fine. Like, if the idea is to make her, like, a little bit, like, uncertain or insecure or flight or whatever, sure. But then from the waist up, right? She is taking on a posture that's, like, with this, like, holding her hand like that is sort of supposed to evoke elegance and strength, and, like, her idle animation here, right? Like, it's this stomp and, like projecting a force field out. That's a little incoherent. I don't really think this fits together with itself very well. Like, neither as fan service nor as power posing. I mean, I guess it's distinct from the other heroes. I just don't know what that... Right? Like, because all of her animation is, like, these... like, this big curving motion. And, like... like, that's all power, that's all elegance, that's all grace. It's just missing from her posture a lot, I feel. Yeah. Yeah, she is, like, hot, but I don't think she's, like, pushed to ludicrous degrees. Certainly not as bad as, like, some superheroes often can be. It is a little odd that she has, like, I guess, air vents around her pussy. Like, what is, like, why is there, like, mesh fabric right around the crotch like that? That's a little odd. That seems to be meant to evoke the shape of, like, what's it called? Tricot. A spandex, like a circus spandex, or like an aerobics suit kind of vibe, like the really 80s ones that, like, sort of sat and, like, fully, like, sat on the cusp of the hips there. Slightly odd texturing detail to sort of very deliberately use the textures to draw attention to her crotch like that. Again, because, like, if she was really, really postured as, like, a fan service character, if she was really, like, designed to be, like, hot wife, right? Like, if they were really going for Sue Storm, hottie, like, total hottie kind of thing, okay, then I'd kind of get it. Like, I'd at least understand what they were going for. But she's sort of... I don't really know what the character appeal is that they're going for here. She's baseline attractive, but... she doesn't seem to be, like, the I can kill you with a thought power fantasy of someone like Storm. And she doesn't seem to be, like, the I'm the sexiest, hottest, beautiful, most beautiful thing in the room kind of power fantasy. Like, so what are they going for here? I don't know. I'm going on impressions here, and my impression here is I don't really know what kind of appeal, what kind of pandering they're doing. Because most characters are pandering to someone. Like, they are designed to appeal to a certain demographic in some ways, shape, or form. I'm just not seeing that here. Oh, well. Yeah, they replicate the animation. That makes sense. Oh, but this time she gets the ring on. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, because this slightly odd posture to me, it makes a little bit more sense with high heels, right? Like, they're doing a little bit of messing around with the geometry of her legs to sort of adapt her posture to having heels, because she doesn't here, right? Like, she has a little bit of heel on the boot, but not really, like, high heels. See, now we're much more in fan service territory, right? Okay, I guess I just have to sit through that. There we go. Like, this posture makes a little bit more sense to me with high heels. Like, this would make a little bit more sense to me, especially if she had, like, really high, like, stilettos or something. Like, really had the... like, to really sort of push her towards that, like, this highly curved. But she doesn't have that in her base form. And I think that's part of what makes the posture read kind of awkward to me, is because it feels like a posture that's kind of designed for high heels, but then her base costume doesn't include them. She just kind of has vague heels on her boots a little tiny bit. And then when she has heels, they kind of have to be really short, and they don't really push her up into that heel part. You can see, like, this heavy curve, right? You can see how much she's curved like that, like almost kind of leaning backwards over her own center of gravity. High heels are kind of supposed to support that, like to really allow you to get those curves on the back of, like, the body. And yeah, that really is distracting to me. Like the fact that the posture is really, really important for a cool superhero. Like for a cool high impact superhero, like posture that reads very cleanly immediately. I'm just kind of not getting it from her. And it's kind of messing me. Like, it's kind of messing with me. I'm having trouble focusing on anything else because the posture keeps looking so awkward. Okay. Let me abstract myself from that. I mean, costume design, there's not a lot to say here either. It's a Fantastic Four uniform, right? Which, again, I get that it's like the uniform and they all kind of wear the same thing, and that's sort of the point of it, except the Thing has his own thing. Like, he's not wearing a full Fantastic Four uniform. And, like, there's some minor differences with the texturing and the stuff, like, for example, the pussy vents on her. Because, like, I can kind of get the idea this is like an astronaut flight suit, right? So you have this flap on the front that you can kind of detach in case you need to piss, right? Like, it's for going to the bathroom. That makes sense as a practical consideration here on, like, Johnny. I wonder if Reed has that as well. No, he doesn't. So it's only Johnny who has the flap on the front that looks like it can be opened up to piss. I guess Reed can just, like, extend his dick out the neck of the suit and piss that way. Oh, God, why did I put that image in my own head? Okay. Because, like, if the suits were completely standardized, right? Like, if all of them wore exactly the same suit, that would work on the level of being, like, a very... Like, they're all wearing the exact same standard uniform, slightly adapted in, like, cut and stuff, but because there is some individuality to it, right? That's... Johnny has this sort of half-over kind of vibe thing going on, and then Sue has sort of a little bit of that same thing that Johnny has, and then a little bit of, like, I think... Okay, is Sue's... I wish I could sort of just look at all three of them side by side. Yeah, I don't know. Because, like, if you make all the characters wear exactly the same suit, right? Like, then the visual storytelling of that is that all of these characters are committed to the exact same ideal, right? Like, all of these characters have committed themselves to the same idea of the Fantastic Four, right? Like, it's a visual signifier of their commitment to the group. If all of them wear different outfits, then it's visually storytelling, like yes, they have a similar like aesthetic profile, but all of them also have like their own unique personalities, their own unique needs, their own individuality that's expressed in some way through their uniform design, right? And so if you wanted to do this with these characters, you would imagine like, okay, Reed being the water element, being the flexible guy, maybe his uniform would be like more sort of sleek and long and like not really have as many of these like harsh angles on it. Like it would be much more designed around like these flowing organic shapes, right? Like they sort of imitate the flow and the like the movement of water over a surface kind of vibe. You'd sort of think you would have that, right? And then the same way, like with Johnny, you would have some elements of his suit design that point more towards like flame iconography that looks more like fire or looks scorched even. Like that's another thing. One thing they really could have done with Johnny's bodysuit is make it scorched by flame, like have little burn marks on it, like little bits and bobs, because Johnny, of course, is always pushing himself too far. Like Reed made the suit to be able to tolerate up to 5,000 degrees Celsius or fucking whatever, and then Johnny's like, I'm gonna go up to 6,000 just because I'm pushing myself too far, right? Even though Reed told me not to. You can do a little bit of storytelling that Johnny is someone who damages himself by pushing too far, if that's what you wanted to do. Or you could do some iconography of flames or fire or licking embers or something along the suit to personalize it. And same thing with Sue, right? Like Sue could have us, like, you could emphasize that she and Reed are one, that they are united by having her iconography and Reed's be kind of similar, right? That they both share these flowing organic forms because, like, he's a liquid and she's a gas, right? Like, so they both kind of have those same flow patterns, but then this one's expressed more through translucency and airiness and things like that, and Reed has much more blue on him, like way more blue, and Sue has way more white because, like, white is sort of air color and blue is sort of watercolor. There are things that could be done with the costume design here to give them a stronger sense of identity, or you could completely standardize them to show, like, these characters are completely uniform in their commitment to, like, the idea of the Fantastic Four, of their family, right? But they haven't really done either of those things. They haven't really used the costume design to really, like, do storytelling about the characters, either one way or the other. Like, there's a little bit of something with the crystals that Sue has on her shoulder and her belt, which, like, I don't think Reed has anything that looks like that anywhere in his suit. Like, so, okay, that's a thing. How is that related to her air powers, though? It sort of looks like force field projection-y, I guess. It sort of kind of has that vibe. But they don't really look techy either. Like, these don't look like projectors or, like, tech things. They just look like pearls, kind of. Like jewelry, which... Okay, like, if you wanted to incorporate, like, a pearl theme, like a jewelry theme into it, you could definitely do that. Like, because pearls, that aligns very well with, like, Sue's force field thing, and, like, pearls come from the ocean. Maybe that could connect her thematically to Reed in some way if he was more ocean-themed. Or given that they come from the ocean, maybe they connect her to Namor a little bit. Like, maybe these are presents from Namor that she's still wearing, even though she kind of shouldn't be, because the love triangle, like, slash cucking fetish that's sort of going on with the Sue, Namor, and Reed has long been a part of their character design. I would love it if she had, like, a little Atlantean trinket. If she had, like, a little thing from Namor that she still wears, even though that's, like, slightly scandalous. Like, if her earrings, for example, were, like, obviously from Atlantis. Namor is from Atlantis in Marvel, right? It's not just Aquaman who uses Atlantis, it's... Yeah, Atlantean. He's still Atlantis. Yeah, I don't know. Like, costume design is sort of underwhelming on the Fantastic Four, except for Ben. Ben's costume is fantastic because it's different. Like, because it is so specifically adapted to expressing his ideas and his themes. They could have done more of that with Sue and Johnny and Reed as well, I feel. Like, the bodysuits themselves are kind of just boring and don't really express the character that much. But oh well. Malice. 1961. Okay. That's kind of early to pull that trigger. So we got something for the toe fetishists. That's nice. And here we have the exact thing I was talking about here. Like, this specific, like, curving down around into the crotch kind of thing, like that you get on like 80s sort of like aerobics workout videos with the spandexes that they wear there. So there's a little bit of that. Like, this is definitely like obviously clearly fan service, and we're sort of in the Dark Phoenix mold of fan service. Like, this is something I don't know if people remember this today, but Jean Grey used to be the good girl, right? Like, that sort of used to be part of her character, was that she was like the good girl of the X-Men, right? Like, in the same way that Scott Summers is like the good guy, like the sort of sensible every boy, who everyone hates because he's such a fucking too perfect little shithead of a man. Jean Grey was sort of the innocent good girl who's like psychically sensitive and vulnerable kind of vibe. And then the Dark Phoenix saga, the whole point of the Dark Phoenix thing was this was pushing Jean towards being like this dark sort of sexual, very confident, aggressive, like, right? Like, and this kind of feels of a kind with that. Like, I don't know what the fuck is the deal with Malice. It looks like she's been corrupted by Galactus, maybe? Was she made a Herald of Galactus at some point? Like, this is in 61, though. Like, were Heralds of Galactus a thing even then? I don't know. I don't know the timeline. But, like, we're playing with bondage themes, right? Like, we're playing with bondage, we're playing with sadomasochism themes, we're playing with, like, extremely heightened sexualization, because, like, this is Dark Sue Storm when she's the bad girl, when she's like, ooh, I want to inflict pain on you and enjoy it in a sexual way kind of vibe, right? Okay, so they don't... Okay, they alter a little... No, not that much, actually. Okay, interesting. So it's just the presentation. So the interesting thing about this costume is it changed my impression of her body shape quite substantially. Like, this long, low curve down to the butt cheek, right? With the little hip dips right there that, like, really curve down. That's sort of less accentuated in her base costume, right? Like, you can see it's there... Like, I don't think they made the ass bigger. It's just that the costume is doing such a better job of accentuating, like, the butt cheeks and, like, the bowl of the hips and the way that that connects up. It does really emphasize, like, ladies, this right here, this to me says you need to work more on your core strength. This to me says you need to do some more reps at the gym to kind of build up your core strength to, like, really support your, like, spine and shit, because that kind of looks like you're about to break apart and fall backwards. The belt is doing a lot to sort of cover up that on the base form in a way that here it... It's also just the posture, right? It's because she's leaning backwards in that slightly odd way. The knock-knee pose here still feels... Like, with this version of the character especially, it feels kind of incongruous. Yeesh. I mean, I guess that is a difference in body type for Reeve compared to Reed, but... Again, what's it supposed to say about how who the character is and how they use their body, right? I don't mind if Sue, like, doesn't go to the gym and is, in fact, like, kind of weirdly skinny, because she's the air character, right? Like, she's made of air. I don't mind that she's, like, skinny and insubstantial. I think that works with the concept of the character. It's just more... This just looks a little distorted beyond what makes sense to me. Like, this reads as a little bit uncanny and not in a way that I think is supposed to evoke any part of her power set, but your mileage may vary, I guess. Anyway. So, constraints, belts, things like hands cupping her tits because of course, we're being sexual about it. Lots of spikes, and then this fucking Final Fantasy-esque wrappings around the head, black sclera. Lots of spikes there as well. Very Iron Maiden kind of vibe. Very sort of an enemy you might fight in Diablo 4 a little bit. Kind of thing going on. Not really sure what to make of it. Like, this, as a dark inversion of Sue Storm, it's like, yeah, like, Sue is supposed to be the quintessential perfect wife, right? Like, she's supposed to be the quintessential perfect wife of the Marvel Universe. And so this is like... I guess in a 60s kind of optics, this would be like a perfect inversion of that, right? Like wild, dangerous, prickly, like bereft of soft womanly comfort but sexually alluring kind of thing. I guess in a context of the 60s, I guess it makes sense as that, but as an inversion of like Sue Storm as like the avatar of air, I don't know that I'm feeling that particularly. I don't know that that was a goal either. I don't know that that was a design goal with Malice, that she was supposed to be inverting or showcasing the dark side of Sue's air powers. But if that's what it's supposed to do, I don't think it's really doing a good job of it. This does kind of just look like generic evil. Like, I don't really know what aspect, what darkness lurking deep in Sue's heart is being expressed here. Again, because, I should re-emphasize, I'm not a comics expert. I haven't read 100 million of these comics. I don't know what the context is for Malice. Mistress of Hate. I guess it's because she's supposed to be like an embodiment of love. Perfect love with Reed, and then the Mistress of Hate is the one who's like feels no love or tenderness towards anyone. It's like, okay, I suppose. Again, it's a costume where it's like, I'm not 100% sure if it's trying just to be horny or if it's trying to also be a power fantasy. Like, this is Sue Storm with her power unleashed. Like, this is her, like, using her powers in the darkest ways they can possibly be used. Because, again, the whole iron spikes and, like, wrappings and stuff, it doesn't really relate to her air powers, right? Like, it's, the trouble is the dark version, like, what would be the natural dark version of Sue Storm using her powers? Well, it would be a typhoon, right? Like, it would be a storm, quite literally sort of biting Storm's whole bit from the X-Men. Like, it would be like a malicious gust of wind that, like, tears through the world and, like shreds buildings, a tornado, right? Like, that would be the dark inversion of Sue's powers, right? Like, this hellion that blows through a place and rips everything apart, rather than force fields that are protective and, like creates a protective bubble or extends comfort around someone. I guess the spikes are supposed to be the opposite of, like, force fields. Which, like, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't really know that there's that much more to this than just being the fan service skin. And that's fine. Like fan service is fine in skins. I think every single character in Marvel Rivals should have an, like, insanely horny fan service skin. Maybe except if they're child characters, but, like, for all the adult characters, having an insanely horny fan service skin just makes sense to me. That's fine. It just shouldn't be, like, it's just... The thing, like, it's not a problem if female characters have very sexy skins. That's fine. There's literally no problem with that. If you observe a pattern whereby all the female characters get a lot of sexy skins and all the male characters get a lot of power fantasy skins, that's when you can talk about there being, like, a fundamental imbalance in the way that the characters are treated, right? If everyone gets hot, horny, sexy fan service skins, like put the Thing back in his Speedos, right? Give him like real tight-fitting little Speedos, really outline the literal crack of that ass. Like, give that to the gays, right? Like, give the horny, sexy fan service skins to, like, the she's, gays, and theys, besides just the horny fan service skins for the men, and then we're fine. Then I have no criticism. It's more about pattern, of which there really isn't enough skins in Marvel Rivals yet to form one, I don't think. Let's look at her abilities, since we're here anyway. Okay, so she's kind of doing the Moira thing a little bit, like damage enemies, heal allies, or, well, just the standard Overwatch healer thing, I guess. Oh yeah, no, because Moira is like drain, right? Like, she drains from one and gives to the other.
Denizens of the deep.
Disappear!
Ooh, big force field. Undetectable by enemies and heals over time. Yeah.
Force burst!
Gather energy, psionic energy. Oh, so her powers are psychic now. Or are they not? Well, let me know in the comments if it's psychic powers specifically. Alright, she has a crowd control vortex. That makes sense. And I guess she's just, like, invisible when she's out of combat. Yeah, so is she actually invisible, or does she just get kind of translucent and a little bit hard to see? I wonder. Okay, cool. Yeah, it feels like she should have more knockback abilities, really. I guess she has that, but...
Feel the pull! Psionic burst!
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know, Sue Storm... I can't get over the posture. The posture to me is just... It keeps being weird to me. I don't like this specific posing choice. And, like, looking at in-game...
Feel the pull! Psionic burst!
Like, her posing and posture seems... Yeah, no, she still does that weird knock-knee leg thing. What's it supposed to do for her? Like, where's the visual appeal in it? And when I say visual appeal, I don't just mean is it hot, is it sexy, is it... I mean this indefinable feature of, like, you see something, it's like, oh shit, that looks really well put together. That's appeal, right? It's not about whether it's sexy, it's about, like, whether you kind of look at it and intuitively kind of go, oh, ooh, I like that, right? Like, that's appeal. It's very hard to define. But I'm getting the opposite from here. Like, I'm kind of getting, like, girl, like, plant your feet. Like, control your center of gravity. What are you doing? Put on some heels if you want to stand like that. Like, yeah, This doesn't quite work for me, but okay. Oh, well. Oh, well. They can't all be bangers. I should say, like, let me step away from the negatives and try and do some positives. I like the hair. I quite like the hairstyle. It looks a little bit 90s. Like, sort of a little bit poofy, a little bit floaty. Like, sort of the classic thing to do with a character like this, right? Like, because she's air elemental, as it were, is to give her, like, floaty things, like long streamers and whatever. But Storm kind of has that. Like, that's her air manipulation things, like all this billowing stuff. So I like with Sue, rather that they just have this slightly sort of perky, lifted... Right, like this like what's it called, a bob or whatever? I don't know if that's what it's called, but that the hair is just a little bit poofy, a little bit lifted, right? Like that you have these tufts and clumps of it that just kind of float a little bit in the air, that poke a little bit outwards rather than hanging. I kind of like that. I like the earrings on her also. I like them as a part of the character design. They give her a little bit more of that mom energy. By which I don't mean, like, necessarily a mother, but in the sense of, like, they make her look like a married woman somehow. I don't know why. It's just the vibe of specifically these earrings and, like, this hair. She has a slightly... Like, this is not a super elaborate, incredibly, like, out there superhero hairstyle, right? Like, this looks like the hairstyle of, like, someone's cool mom, right? Someone's favorite aunt. It looks good, but not in a way that feels like superheroics, right? It feels kind of down to earth in a way that I like. Again, like, sort of in the same way that Mr. Fantastic currently with his big mountain man beard. Like, I think his hairstyle is made... Yeah, I should say this about his hairstyle. I don't really like the side-swept thing that he's got going on with his hair here. I think this looks a little bit too much like he needs a haircut. I like the beard, though. Like, because it, again, sort of team dad, it ages him up. It makes him, like, an adult. And because it's, like, a big mountain man beard, like, relative to... Where the hell is Doctor Strange? There you are. Relative to, like, the immaculately groomed sort of goatee thing that Doctor Strange has got going on that's supposed to be like, yes, I am mystical and, like, I've shaved my beard very, like, finely and very particularly. Relative to that, right? Like, and relative to the sort of old man grandpa beard that Magneto has got going on, like this white beard that's kind of fluffy about it, but also very well groomed, right? Like Magneto's beard is not wild. It's like he's clearly cut it quite carefully along the line of his helmet. And then that Mr. Fantastic has this slightly more overgrown, soft beard. It's like, yes, that works as a way to sort of give the character a specific vibe, right? And you can kind of see the effect it has when you compare and contrast with the way that he looks when he's clean-shaven as the Maker, or the way that he looks when he's clean-shaven in his marriage costume, right? Like, it gives a very different vibe to the character. A little bit unkempt, like a little bit sort of like, oh, I got distracted and I didn't do my beard clipping today or whatever, right? It looks a little bit overgrown in a way that I like. The haircut, though, like, I don't mind that the hair is overgrown up here, but then why is it so fucking well-groomed around the gray, right? Like, why is it so well-groomed here if the idea is that it's supposed to be kind of overgrown and like, oh, he needs to go to the fucking barber because he hasn't been in a while because he's been distracted by his experiments kind of vibe? The whole thing should be overgrown. Like, the whole thing should be a little poofy, a little bit Mad Professor, if that's what you're going for. And it feels like his hairstyle should be more, like, in the same way that if Sue Storm has kind of a everyone's favorite cool aunt or like someone's cool mom haircut, I feel like Mr. Fantastic should have more of, like, someone's dad haircut. And this is not quite that. Not with the immaculately managed, like, salt and pepper graying around the temples all the way back. And, like, it should be messier. It should be a little bit more like your dad who hasn't been to the who hasn't gone to the hairdresser in a little bit too long, so the hair's a little bit overgrown, a little bit weird. Like, maybe the eyebrows should be a little bushier. Like, there's a little bit more you could do with that to sort of give him the sort of affable, distracted dad vibe. But Sue has that vibe. Like, she does have a little bit, does have that cool mom vibe. Like, not really milfy in the way, like, because again, she's not hypersexualized, despite all the porn fan art of her. But she has that cool mom vibe. And I think the hairstyle is a big part of that. I think the hairstyle and the earrings do a really good job of that. And I like that. Like, it's not as sort of teenager, young, impetuous, cocky asshole as Johnny. But it's also not like, it's not frumpy, right? Like, it's not lame. It's not like sort of performatively, oh yeah, she's out of touch with reality. She's not wearing the latest fashions because she's a mom now and she's not, like, young anymore. It's not supposed to make her look old, just comfortable. And I like that. I think that works. The hairstyle is really good. Because there is a little bit of that mess to it, right? Like, which works with the force field powers and everything. Yeah. I'll say that for Sue. Like I do like what they've done with the hair and the face. Even if they could have done a lot more with the costuming. And I don't know what the fuck is up with that posture. Like, it really annoys me. Like, yeah, I'm sure people find the posture appealing. I'm sure there are people who's like, actually, I really like it and I like it for these reasons. That's fine. I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying, this, for whatever reason, for me, it's just like, it doesn't jive with the character. Because, like, I'm looking at, like, other postures, right? Like, see, like, Scarlet Witch has the fucking high heels, right? That sort of, like, that push the posture up and, like, gives her that backwards curve and, like, emphasizes that curvature. Like, it gives her that power posing, right? And it works here. And then relative to the like, really unstable sort of girlish, again, like, if the idea of Sue Storm is that she's a grown-up, like, that she's everyone's favorite aunt, that she's a grown-up woman thing, this to me reads childish relative to that, right? Like, it doesn't jive with it. It just, like, this reads unstable, childish, a little bit awkward in a way that the rest of the character just doesn't. So I don't know. Shut up. I'm gonna shut up about it now. I'm gonna shut up. Okay. There's a bunch more costumes that have been added to the game as well, but this video has already gone on for too long, I think. So I'm gonna cut this one here, and then we can come back. And we can look at the costumes of the rest of the stuff, if people want me to. In the meantime, though, before I go, I have to remember to shill and engage in crass commercialism. So, let me just figure out how the hell to do that. Where are you? There you are. Haha! There it is. I have a merchandise shop. There's stuff on it. Stuff that's mostly related to videos on my main channel, admittedly. Not really so much to the videos on this channel, because this is just my spam and hangout channel. But if you want a mug with, like, Get Good on it, like, that's sort of, or some stickers of that, you can get those. And also this cool mug that everyone should have, and a hoodie with a phrase that I say in my videos over on the main channel sometimes. And also, hey, look, it's my face. You can put it on the mug for some reason. You can also put my face on your socks. I don't know that I recommend it, honestly. Like, I made this just because it seemed funny, and I ordered them. But I don't know, like, it's not, it doesn't really quite look as nice as I would have liked it to. But if you want it for the memes, you can, like, send me a picture of you wearing that. Actually, I shouldn't tell people to send me feet pics, should I? No, I shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Please don't do that. But yeah, no, merchandise, I have it. I have Patreon stuff. You can use it if you want to, but you absolutely do not have to. Bye!